Welcome to What's Up Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for being here. I wanted to talk this week about some questions that we ask in our interviews. So we utilize a platform right now to perform one-way video interviews of all the safety professionals we interview and eventually hire. And in that interview, there's a question that's posed, and then the person has a minute to answer that question. And something came up the last couple of days that got me thinking about a couple of the questions that we ask, which I think are really great questions to ask all of you out in safety land, and also just questions to kind of ponder and think about. So one of the questions is, how do you build safety culture? And the other question is, what do you do in the first 30 days on a new project? And those questions, I think, go hand in hand in a lot of ways. And the reason I bring this question up is I want to really focus on approach. I think that there's a spectrum of approach that safety professionals use in how they manage or influence safety in the workplace. And on one end of the spectrum, we have that very old school, autocratic, authoritative approach of, there's a new sheriff in town, I'm the safety cop, I'm going to play gotcha. On the other side of the spectrum, you have this accountability approach where the safety professional's role is to be much more consultative and much more of a leader that is empowering the frontline supervision to promote and ensure that work is being planned and that safety is being planned into that work. There's an accountability piece where you have a self-fulfilling culture of expectation and accountability. And I've seen both ends of the spectrum. And I know that over here on the left, if you want to call it the left, that authoritative, autocratic safety cop approach doesn't work. It is absolute cancer that will destroy a culture faster than anything there is. But when we look at the approach, I think that there's a tendency for people to look at a situation and apply the same approach every time. And I don't think that we can do that. I think that we can have a general approach, which again, focus on really clear expectations, focus on an understanding of those expectations, and a development of an accountability process around safety. And that's how you build culture. Positive reinforcement, and not the gotcha mentality, but pointing out good catches, identifying at-risk behaviors and addressing them positively. These are a lot of the things we can do over on this side to influence accountability around really clear safety expectations. But when we look at the approach, we're going to apply it a little bit differently depending on the leadership, depending on the project, depending on the demographic of the workforce, depending on the location. Are we in Alabama? Are we in upstate New York? Are we in California? Things are going to be different culturally, from a language basis, and from a lot of different perspectives. So even though we may understand that, okay, this is the approach we want to use, we want to develop a really strong safety culture by building relationships, understanding our workforce, really interacting with that workforce on a daily basis in a positive manner. We kind of know the approach we're going to use. But then to go one step further, I think based on those variables of, again, locale, culture, language, demographic of the workforce, we have to maybe tweak our approach just a little bit. And we have to kind of be a chameleon as a safety leader to be able to bring that approach to that workforce on that specific project. I hope that makes sense. Really, we have options. We can come in with, we're going to do it by the book and we're going to throw the book at you, or we're going to build a culture through expectation, planning, and strong relationship building, and a genuine culture of care. It's a very different dynamic from one to the next, but then tailoring our delivery and approach to that specific job is another key component that I think people need to be thinking about. So let that sink in and resonate a little bit. Which approach do you prefer? Hopefully it's the positive approach. And then what do you need to do to adapt and deliver? And the one little tip that I'll give is it's really good idea to look and listen and ask questions and really take everything in for a while. Coming in and trying to implement or make any changes right away can very quickly destroy credibility and break down any effort to build that culture. So coming in with curiosity is what I call it. Listening, watching, observing, and absorbing is really key to understanding all the variables that you need to understand so that you can develop that approach. So hopefully you find that helpful, and we will see you on our next What's Up Wednesday.